Welcome, everybody. It's post Christmas edition of A Flawed Man of God. How is everybody doing? My name is Stuart Davis. I'm a deacon at a small church out just outside of Richmond, Virginia. I'm not a pastor. I'm not a biblical scholar. I haven't been to seminary. I'm not trying to get you to join my church or donate to any special cause. What I'm here to do is talk about God, talk about the Bible, talk about, man, you leave me alone and I get off of this stream for a few days and everything just comes apart, including my introduction. Here to talk about God, here to talk about Jesus, here to talk about the Holy Spirit, here to talk about the Bible, here to talk about Christianity, here to talk about a wide variety of topics and a wide range of subjects and matters that affect us um, across everybody, affects everybody, but specifically the perspective of somebody who is who has been a Christian all his life, 39 years, non-denominational Protestant, just in the Word every day, just trying to get it right. Don't subscribe to any particular doctrine or denomination, and that's how it is. That's what you get here with me. So, if you are somebody who is interested in learning more about Christianity, maybe you've got a little tug in the back of your mind, something keeping you awake at night, just kind of wondering if there's more to life than just this existence on this planet. Let me tell you, you are welcome at this show. I'm glad that you are here. I want you to be here. It's part of the reason why I started it in the beginning. So please tune in and get whatever insights you can out of me. You'll get just a guy going to church, and maybe some of your preconceptions, maybe some of the stereotypes you've thought about, with the Bible being a boring book about laws, with Christianity just being this weird cult full of people who just go to church as a social club and to look down on other people and to judge other people. It's not supposed to be that way. That's not what the intent is. That's not what happens when it's being done correctly. And it's being done correctly everywhere. In your town, across America. It's also being done incorrectly everywhere. So it's a difficult thing. And I understand it if you are reticent and your faith in people um, makes it difficult to have faith in God. But please give this channel a chance if you stumbled across it. And be part of the chat. Come in and give us some of your questions, some of your insights, some of how what we're covering speaks to you. We'd love to hear about it. If you're already a Christian and you just enjoy Christian conversation, dialogue, and topics, welcome as well. Glad to have you here. We run this very similar to a Wednesday night study group or Sunday school. It's just a nice small group of folks, of regulars coming in, and see a lot of them in the chat right now, um, filing in. We'd love to have you be part of that. We'd love to have you be part of that. So whether you are a Christian already or if you're just interested, I point you to the chat. I encourage you to be part of this because, look, I'm just the face on here and I'm just the mouthpiece. I'm not the only person talking about God on this channel. So moving through that, hopefully everybody had a Merry Christmas. If you didn't have a Merry Christmas, hopefully you are recovering. Hey, if you had a very Merry Christmas, hopefully you were recovering as well. I had an excellent Christmas, as I do pretty much every year, especially since I've had kids, and this has been no different. This has been no different. My wife does an amazing job getting everything organized, getting everything wrapped. Um, while I just bring the big boxes down from the attic and do the heavy lifting. So it's been a very it gets busy, right? It's busy, but there's togetherness. There's I don't know. There's just a lot of joy. So Nico's in the chat. Nernaeth, haven't seen you in a while, Nernaeth. Glad you're here. I feel like it's been a couple of weeks. Alias, where'd my phone go? Alias Porcupine Mayhem, Glad to see you guys in here. Porcupine said, was literally dozing off on the couch and got the notification to wake up. Wake up. It's time to listen to me. It's time to discuss the holiday, the birthday, and what we're getting ready to head into with the new year. So tomorrow's probably going to be my last stream of the year. I've got family. I've got family that are visiting, and I'm going to spend time with them. Again, time with family is very important to me, and you guys got y'all's own things going on as well. Some people have buses, some people have traveling, some people have got all sorts of stuff. Some people have got whatever Nernat's got going on, where he's trying to deflect and saying that I haven't streamed in a while. I streamed a pretty decent amount leading up to Christmas. But yeah, Christmas last week was slow, a little slow. And this week is going to be probably even slower. So last night, first off, Nico DMs me on Twitter going, "Hey, wait, was it Nico? No. Who DM'd me on Twitter? Crap. Was it? Who DM'd me? Somebody DM'd me on Twitter asking if we were going to have the show. And I said, no, I'd partially forgotten. The other thing is we're dog sitting for some good friends of ours. If you're in the Discord, my buddy who was playing that song that I posted that probably about a month and a half ago, his family, they left us with their lab and their mutt and the mutt. So we were getting the dogs settled in because it's a big thing. The mutt, who is laying over on the futon right now, chilling and looking about as unstressed as possible, was very stressed at first because it was her first time coming over to our house. My Boston Terrier is very much in everybody's face, and she didn't like it. And so they didn't have a fight or anything, but there was some growling, and so we separated the two. So she's up with me, up here in the man cave, hanging out. And when I say hanging out, it's like her head hanging off the futon mattress right now. So, but yeah, so we had some other stuff, a couple other things going on. So I was like, yeah, we're probably not going to do it. They're probably not going to do it. So that's why we didn't do that. Let's see. Christmas Eve, assembling my daughter's bunk bed and programming my son's Gizmo watch. Those are I like the assembly part of stuff during Christmas. I like putting stuff together. Right. I could be like, I'm not Herbie from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I don't want to be a dentist. I want to put the stuff together because I love putting it up and staging it, and I love the look on the kids' faces when they come downstairs and they see what they got. So like I said, my her big present was bunk beds. She's excited about it. Her whole room has been reorganized. I assembled it mostly. My son helped out. He was under strict orders not to speak at all about what was going on. We had the door closed off. They spent the night in my son's room, so she didn't know. And it was the last present they got once they were done opening their presents. But he put together the ladder going up to the second to the bunk bed, the top bunk. And that's actually where he stayed the next Christmas, the night of the 25th. So Christmas night, not Christmas Eve evening, but Christmas night. They did sleep over in her room, and he slept up top, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Those two can get along so well sometimes, and then they can fight for the stupidest of reasons. I don't understand it. But for the most part, they got along. They did well. Son got, let's see, he got a weighted ball because he's working weighted ball about medicine ball about this big, 4 pounds, nothing heavy, but heavy for him as a 9-year-old, for working on his throws as goalie. He got that. He got a soccer goal, regulation for his age, regulation size soccer goal that was out in the yard from Santa Claus. Got that. So he got it, and he got some goalie gloves from his grandparents. He got both Pokemans, Scarlet and Violet, I think they are, which I'll probably be playing a little bit as well. I don't dislike dabbling in a little bit of animal violence, which is Pokemon. What else did he get? Got Dogman books. He's a big fan of Dogman. He got like a cube that turns into different shapes. He got like, it wasn't Lego brand, but it was like a Lego off brand. This came from my parents, but it's one of his favorite gifts. It's a put it together yourself Lego remote control car, but again, not Lego brand. It's one of the other ones. I've seen it on Facebook. I'm gonna get him some more. But yeah, he's he that was the first thing really he did. He spent most of Christmas Day after we got back from church. Spent most of Christmas Day up here putting it together. And you could put it could either be a Jeep or it could be a sports car that looks kind of like a Ferrari. It looks like Elgo. So it was fun. It was funny. And look, I love that he loves putting stuff together, so that eventually when I get my Cobra kit car, which is one of my goals, that he and I will be putting that together one day for me to drive, not him. 427 side pipes. Maybe from Superformance. We'll see. But he does. He puts stuff together. He takes I get it from my dad. He gets it from he might be better at this stuff than me. My dad built his own house, right? He loves to tinker with things and everything. My son is way more into that than I am, or I think he's more talented. He's definitely more talented at this age than I was at his age. It wasn't until I got a little older, started getting a little bit into mechanics, working on my Jeep, but then really when I got into the Army and started putting together helicopters, where I really just realized that was something that I was good, not just good at, but also that I understood and had fun doing. So that's what he got. I'm trying to think of anything else. Oh, he got a RoboFish. Another Santa Claus present. RoboFish, which is you have a bowl with water in it, and it's a fish you throw in the water, and it dies, but only when the battery dies, and you can always bring it back to life. I don't understand. I do like that I don't have to be fishing a real fish out of the water 3 days from now because it died. Because that's what goldfish do. All right. Daughter got the bunk beds. What else did she get? She got a lot of Barbie stuff. Books. She got a book. She got a book with not a lot of pictures in it, and she did not. She loves to read, but I think the fact that there's not a lot of pictures in the book, that there wasn't a lot of, that it either intimidated her a little bit, or she just likes looking at the pictures. But she gave this like, I don't want this look on her face. Or she said, no, I don't like this. There's not enough pictures. There's too many words. She got a set of bows, hair bows, and she just like this. Like, where's the real present? Which is weird also because she loves hair bows. She's always got a hair bow, and she's always got something going on in her hair. She's like her mom. She has great hair. So I don't know why she got upset about it. I think it was because she just wanted more Barbie stuff. She did not get any. She got a dance pad, like this, like a princess dance pad, where you turn it on and it plays a beat, and it's kind of like the old arcade game dance things where you would stand on the thing and put your feet where it needed to go. It's a little bit more juvenile than that. By a little bit, I mean a lot, but she enjoys it. And my son enjoys it too. They just like dancing. She loves to dance. She loves that stuff. What else did she got? There was some origami. There were some coloring books. And then, the little odds and ends. I'm trying to remember all of them. And that's great. It's great. Kids appreciate it. Oh, my son got laser tag, which we'll be playing with the cousins this weekend. Because he's been mad because it's been freezing outside. He wanted to go outside immediately. It's been freezing outside. I'm sure it's colder where Porcupine is. But it was very cold for us. Regionally, this is very cold. We were down in the teens in the I think we touched the single digits a bit, but low 20s, mostly in the teens. So it's been a bit cold. So we were not playing any laser tag, but we'll be running, and it's just going to be me and him for the most part. So when we've got the cousins around us, when we've got my brother around us, that'll be that'll be where it's at. But it's the grandparents came over. The kids loved all the gifts they got from the grandparents, except for the hair bows. But I think she really does like them. She just wasn't what she was expecting it to be, and that's great. So everybody's in a good mood. Everybody's in a good mood. No, it was 12 Porcupine with a -5 wind chill, I think, on Christmas Eve here. And I do not look. That's cold for me. Like normally, I can go out and do things in when it's cold outside, but that was one where I was like, I can't do any of the stuff that I'm doing without. I got to go in and get gloves. And this is like after being out for like 3 or 4 minutes. That's usually not me. So, all right. So what did I miss? Porcupine said my son got Mario Kart 8. Need dabbling? Yes, absolutely, dude. I love Mario Kart 8, and I, as a good father, I don't let them win. We can race on the same team, and you can fight over who's going to be second to whatever. Number one. I still haven't beaten because I haven't really played it in a while. The new tracks are coming out. The new tracks are great. I still need to beat all the courses on 200cc. Haven't done that yet. Then you have to go Armgo, Elgo. Yeah, I don't know what the brand is. It's something. It's something, but it's not bad, and it's not exactly Lego either. Like some of the stuff snaps together like Lego, and it's not Connects. It's not a Rector set style. It's something in between that. Oh, gross, Alias. Yeah, real men don't let kids win. We talked about the weather up in the Midwest. Nico says it's raining in LA. Sorry, my friend. Alias says -22 below, white out blizzard in North Dakota Christmas. We did not get any snow. Not a single flake came down, which kind of upset me as cold as it was. But can't get everything we want. Had a good Christmas. I can't complain. If I want to nitpick, it's that it didn't snow. But I know North Dakota is cold. I know North Dakota is miserable. I've talked to Air Force guys stationed out at Minot. The stories I hear are all awful. And I know it's a strategic area. If for some reason our enemies set off a nuclear bomb or nuclear device in North Dakota, it might get to be room temperature. If they do it in the winter, it might bring the temperature up to be a nice 72 degrees. Nurnath, if you can't beat your children at Mario Kart, they have not been properly prepared for failure and disappointment in life. Oh, man. Yeah. The times my son has put down the controller in Mario Kart and Smash Brothers. And it's just like, son, you don't understand. When you do the math at how long I've been playing games, and I'm a gamer, I have been playing games versus how long you've been alive. They don't, I mean, it's orders of magnitude at that point. Orders of magnitude. So, let's see. Christmas service. Yeah, but then we get taxed for land improvement. Alias. Maybe. Maybe. I mean, it's still, well, I get, yeah. I haven't been up there. I'd actually like to go to Dakotas. I'd love to go see other parts of that area in Big Sky Country and going out to the Pac Northwest, which again, Blaine's not on here. I almost asked Blaine if he wanted to be on the show tonight, and yeah, I was working today, so I didn't think about it. I do other things, guys. So as we look forward to next year, I am going to get back into the scheduling of guests. I want to get Nick back on here. I want to get the other Paul, who I've talked about. I want to get Jeff St. Cyprian on here. Von Mancha, I'll probably want to get him back on at some point to expound upon an episode we did probably about a month before Nick came on. So most of y'all hadn't caught it, but it was basically on kind of some of the science behind the old Earth theories. What else? Like to get Remy Shepard on. I'd like to get No Jesuit Tricks on. I'd like to get Hans Feeney on. If any of y'all follow me on Shay Thaddeus, like to get Shay Thaddeus back on. These are all folks that are on my list of people to get back on the show or get them on the show for the first time. Nico says you can send him the link now. He can explain about predeterminism. What is are you talking about Blaine? What's Blaine's stance on predestination? Ah. Got the Delilah bots in here. The whores of Babylon were coming in. Yeah, dating sites. Awful. Are any of y'all, I know some of y'all are single. Anybody meet anybody? Here's a sex bot in the chat. You made it, Stuart, as a uwu tuber. When this site was new, or when this channel was new, the only people who showed up were the sex bots. Oh, which means, that's another guy I want to get back on here. Eric Rollon, Power Keg Greg, get both of them back on. So I do have a stable of people I'd like to, not to talk about folks like they're livestock, but I have a roster of people. How about that? I have a roster of people that I know mostly would be willing to come back on. We'll see about Hans. Everybody else, I think, is very open. I just haven't. I've talked to Hans, sent Hans DMs. He hasn't given me an answer back on it before. But if you guys follow me on Facebook on the Flawed Man, you will see that I take a lot of his, a lot of what he says on Twitter. Man is a good pastor for getting the message out. Now, I've never sat in his congregation and listened to a sermon. Might be worthwhile for me to do it. But what he says, where he goes on Twitter, and when he gets on his rants, on his threads, he is just right there. He's just right where I'm at. Right where I'm at. And that's not to say that it's everything that I agree with, but it is things that I agree with, not necessarily where I'm being good at. It's calling me to be accountable in the same ways. It's calling other people to be accountable. It's holding people accountable to God's law, God's expectations of us, but at the same time, understanding that there is grace, there is salvation. Oh. Nika said, yeah, Blaine basically said determinism doesn't really matter because there's only one destiny that you can physically take in life, which is determined by what you do in life, which my opinion ignores God's will. So this is, to me, kind of gets a little meta when we start talking about predestination and everything. And Nico, what you normally run into is the Reformed folks, Calvinists, guys who believe in things like tulip with the with election and whatnot. I don't know everything about it. When we get the other Paul on, we're gonna have a conversation. At least one of the times he comes on, I plan to have him on a few times. One to introduce himself, one to talk about Anglicanism, one to talk about his history at Hillsong, the original, and also to talk about being Reformed, being a Calvinist, and what that entails. But basically, from what I gather with that is that we are all living what God has intended for us, our roles. Like God knows before He puts us on earth, that we are going to be saved or not, and He has decided that we're going to be saved or not. And like I said, this gets kind of that. This is weird because we understand God as omnipotent, which is all powerful, omniscient, He's everywhere, and omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipotent, all powerful, omniscient, all knowing, and omnipresent, which is everywhere. Alias. I'm more of a hobbist. So he knows everything and he sees everything. So he knows the end of everybody's story. At the end of he knows their beginning of their life and the end of their life, what they're going to do in between. Knowing and actually directing those are two different things. But where a Calvinist thinks that everything's been determined, I think, and again, I don't get into that all that much. Where I land on it is God has gifted us with life and gifted us with our own consciousness, and He has gifted us with the ability to choose how we're going to do things in life. Now, He already knows what we're going to choose, but He has gifted us with our own free will. He has the power to take that away, and I think that there are instances in the Bible where He does to specific people. But for the most part, we are given the opportunity to decide whether we want to be part of things. What? You are making it sound weirder than Blaine? Blaine does break it down a little bit. His bottom line is it doesn't matter. And that's why, people give the reform, Armenians, whatever you want to call them, call us, whatever they call us, because Reformed, the way the dichotomy generally works is the Reformed look down on non-Reformed as just not as educated as them, I guess. There's kind of a condescension. Whereas the folks who are very highly critical of the Reformed will say that they believe that God intentionally hurts people for no reason. God intentionally damns people where he could just say, no, I don't want this person to go. If I know this person is going to be damned for eternity, I'm not going to put them down there. I'm not going to determine that this person is going to sin, which is kind of where I land. Not in the critical sense, but the reason I don't agree with it is I don't agree that God is going to say, I'm putting this person on the planet and I know because I'm going to make them sin. I'm going to put them in the place that they're going to be damned for eternity. I wouldn't do it. And Nernath also puts it here as well. It really is an overinflated issue in terms of importance. God wants the heart doing the right thing because we love God. And again, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because we either are or we aren't. There's no control we have over how God decided. And Nernath, not because we were supposed to do it for some cosmic plan or fear of punishment. It doesn't matter. But it's an overinflated issue. But Nico, this is one, if you travel in Christian circles, that you are going to come across quite a bit. Now, right now, the meta over in Christian Twitter is not really that big of a deal. That's not the issue. Infant baptism isn't an issue right now. That's just not what's going on. But it is something that people discuss. And it is something that you'll run into at different denominations and different churches, because you have Baptists that are Calvinists. You have Calvinist Baptist churches, Reformed churches, and then you have not so much. The same thing with Anglicans. Presbyterians are, I think all Presbyterians are Calvinists. Lutherans, pretty much all Lutheran churches are not. But I land kind of where Blaine and Nernath are. And when I say kind of, probably all the way. It's an overinflated issue, and it doesn't matter in the long run. Because you either have free will or your life is already predetermined. It shouldn't change how you live your life. Right? Shouldn't change. But I would love to get somebody on here from that perspective to kind of discuss it. The folks from Bible Bashed, they're Reformed. And they've done a couple, then they were on the show, and they've done a couple of episodes. Do all babies do all babies that die before being born or right after being born, do they go to heaven? Do all of them go to heaven? They have some opinions I disagree with. But again, what I know is that a lot of my Presbyterian friends, a lot of my Calvinist friends are some of the most biblically or scripturally educated. Like they know their stuff as far as what the Bible says on things. And they have a genuine desire to do the right thing, which I think is almost it's a hard thing to wrap your head around. That's what I said. It's weird. It's such a weird thing to discuss. And I think really time, the idea of time, the concept of time, which may not even exist outside of this dimension that we live in, really makes it makes the whole thing weird. So did I miss everything? I saw Alias said more of a Hobbist than a Calvinist. Okay. So covering more of my Christmas weekend. So we did our Christmas Eve service. My daughter was singing loudly, which was great. It was hilarious and adorable. I did the candlelight. I do them. We do a contemporary service, and then we do in the early evening, and then middle of the evening we do the traditional candlelight service. And that was I was left wanting more. I'll leave it at that. And similarly on the Christmas Day service when we went, again, my daughter singing very loudly and awesome, but the same thing. So, people don't knock it out of the park every time. But I have a very strong opinion and a strong desire that Christmas Eve, Christmas Day services should be full of joy and celebration, regardless of everything that's happening. Like if bad things, and look, we've had our congregation has had a tough year. We had an elder guy everybody knew, did so much for our church, was so much of a spiritual guide, die unexpectedly. We had another very well-known lady in our church who had been battling with different sicknesses for a while. She passed away just a few months ago. We have another person in our congregation who is a father of a good close friend of mine, who was one of the best Sunday school teachers that I've ever come across. I've told my kids that they need to pay attention when he speaks, because how he says it and what he does is awesome. And I didn't get that opportunity when I was their age. I had good Sunday school teachers, but you should appreciate when you really got a good one. He's fighting for his life, right? Had a lot of medical issues in that race. We've had a lot of loss in that, and we're a small congregation. When we lose somebody, it affects the whole group. It's not like a mega church where you might have the same amount of people affected by the loss of somebody. But I think in a smaller church, it just the whole congregation is shaken when we lose somebody. And so we've had a lot of it to deal with this year, with people dying kind of before their time, kind of before you expect them to, and folks that are struggling with illness and stuff, hardships, stress. We renamed our church, but so there's a lot of people missing, but at the same time, Christmas isn't about who's not there, right? Christmas is about who's arrived, remembering who arrived, and all the celebration. Nobody in Bethlehem who was at that location was thinking about who wasn't there. They were all thinking about who was. Very central figure. The central figure to our entire point. So much so, we are Christians. Christ, EIANS, right? Your Christmas service, in your Christmas Eve service, should have people bound, almost just so much joy they can explode. Because even if we've lost people, even if things are crap at home, even if we're fighting with family members, even if We're in financial distress, even if our job's on the line, or we've just been fired from a job, even all the things, even if the government's oppressing us, does not matter. That none of that is about Christmas. Christmas is about the gift that God gave to us by sending Jesus to be the Messiah, to do the things that we're ultimately going to celebrate in Easter in a few months. We need to be happy. We need to be elated. And everything about that evening, because when you focus on that, it helps remind you that while things are bad, they're not as bad as they can be because we have salvation. We have the ultimate gift. We have that lifeline. And I know and I say that because it's easier because, like I said, I had a great Christmas. I'm in a blessed time of my life. Even I know I have stress. I have stresses in my life? They could be much worse. I don't have the struggles and the obstacles right now to me that other people do. It's easy for me to say this, but that doesn't mean it's not true. So I want to have that feeling. I want to be bouncing off the walls. And I want other people to feel just so much joy that they're just bursting. We need that. Even as blessed and spoiled as we are as Americans, as Westerners, whatever you want to call us, even as blessed as we are in where we live at and where we've been born, and that we struggle with, we don't a lot for the most part, probably nobody in this chat is struggling to feed themselves to the point where they're worrying about dying. Probably nobody in this chat is dealing with a point where if the government finds out that they've been listening to this stream, or that any stream or has a Bible in their house, that they're going to be there's going to be some repercussions, some significant negative repercussions. We don't live in that, but at the same time, sometimes we're not in a great headspace. Sometimes we're depressed. This helps put things into perspective. Nirnaya said, the mainline Presbyterians are Calvinists. I argue with a girl I know about it. A good friend of mine, one of the people, like I said, I know a lot of people who are Presbyterian or Anglican, Reformed, whatever, and they know a lot about the Bible. Very well read. I disagree with some of their interpretations, but I cannot deny that they aren't doing their homework. Porcupine says, we go to a larger church in town. Never have really been a fan of Christmas services on a worship standpoint. The preachers tend to curtail the message towards the CNE Christians. Yes. Look, I think they should. Because look, this is where we're trolling, right? We're trying to bring people in, but also it's the celebration, right? It's because the reason I think that the message ends up tailored towards the CNEs is because it's easy. It's easy Christian. It's easy parts of Christianity to understand. Jesus was born. Mary was a virgin. There was angels. There were shepherds. The wise men weren't there. But all this was going on. All this was going on. And it's this part that, for the most part, everybody, the CNE Christians even understand that. But that's a celebration. It's the basics, right? Porcupine. And I'm not saying that you need to change your perspective on things. But what I'm saying is, we talk about, especially, we're in the Old Testament right now. And what I've said about the Old Testament is, look, the reason that we look at the Old Testament is not just because it points to Christ, but also that it establishes the fundamentals. And it's just like practicing for sports. It's just like anything, any craft or trade, you have these fundamentals, and it's always good to go brush up on your fundamentals. And Christmas also does, a good Christmas Eve service also does that, reinforces the fundamentals. Why is Christ here? Why is it a reason for joy? And while you say, yeah, we're happy he arrived, again, you go into the why, right? So you got the celebration and the meaning behind it. And you could, I'll say Hans Feeney, one of the things he said on Twitter, we don't have time in this lifetime to really express the gravity of the arrival of Christ. But we do what we can. The real point in there for the CNE Christians is they got their foot in the door. And that foot only comes in the door usually 2-3 times a year. Christmas, Easter, and maybe some other time when they feel like they need to go or something like that. Reminding them that it's a great place to go and that it's a great message to get is important. There are other times for emotionally charged, hot topic and challenging sermons. But Christmas is a party. It's a birthday party, right? My daughter saying happy birthday, Jesus, at the end. Creaster. And then Porcupine follows it up. I go for the music and self-reflection, quiet prayer with God, and thanks and adoration of the gift he's given us. So, I mean, look, you get it, right? I know you get it. And then, look, I love, and here's the other reason. Traditional service, beautiful, beautiful Christmas music. Silent Night. Silent Light Night and the rest of the lineup. But singing Silent Night at with the candles, man, it's hard to beat that. I don't like her. Look, and we have a praise team, we have a worship team, and look, it's my wife gets into it, right? It's a whole. It was part of the big thing that it gets her in a place where she can receive the message and worship, right? That's where it works for her. Not for me. I'm traditional. Now, what I've liked, one of the things that are and I've had Eric Coward on. He's our music minister. What I like that he does, and I don't think he appreciates how much it's it is appreciated, is he takes hymns and he kind of spruces, he kind of gives them, he puts them in a band format, but puts it the band plays it. So it's a little bit spiced up. I love the way he's done the ones that he's done. I love it, right? Because you've got the traditional melody, but it's got kind of a rocky theme to it, or it's got band instruments in it. It's got good people who can sing on there. Better than I can. But that's the only time generally you'll catch me singing during worship. With that old rugged cross. I know a few that do an early service for the regulars and the regulars for the creasters. Wait, the creasters, and treat it as an evangelical ministry. Another guy I've been trying to get on is a gentleman by the name of E.L. Jones. He runs a church. He is one of the two pastors at a church that's been really, really on fire as far as getting people to come, called Compass Christian Church. EL's dad married me and my wife. He is the pastor he was the former pastor of the now defunct Pole-Green Church that they merged with Liberty Church. The two congregations merged and became Compass. Polgreen is where I was born into that church. That's where I watched my mom get baptized as a Protestant. She was baptized. She was christened, and when she was growing up Catholic, she was baptized as a Protestant. I sat in the pews all the way up until 4th grade, listening to his dad's sermons. His dad is and remains the best pastor I've ever listened to. Period. I mean, he's from the area. He speaks to people from my town, right? And he does it with wit, humor, and a good solid message. And his son, who is 2 years older than me, anyway, son, by all accounts, is a chip off the old block. So we talk most of the time after softball, because we're both in the same softball league. Sometimes on Facebook. I've been trying to get him on since last year, but I didn't press. He was busy when I wanted to bring him on, and then I didn't revisit the issue because I had other people I was bringing on at the time. But I need to get back on that. That's another idea for this year. So, Nico, thank you, Stuart, for always reminding to be grateful of the things we have. That's been keeping me through hard times and anime. Nico, when life is rough, read Job and realize people have had it worse. People have had it worse. And you don't have to go to the Bible to find that either. People have it worse than you. That doesn't mean that you aren't dealing with struggles. That doesn't mean that things are great for you. But people who have less than you and who have more challenges are able to find joy. If they can find joy, you can find joy as well. That's my takeaway. Other people have gone through worse and made it through. That means that you, in whatever struggles you might be currently going through, have been through already, or are going to go through, life goes on. Life goes on after death. We are alive in Christ, and we go up to heaven, and we get to live with him in his Father's house. And why? Because he arrived as foretold in prophecy. Right? It's not. The funny thing is, it's almost a trope. It's almost a trope because we live in this world now where we've had all these sci-fi and fantasy stories about a prophecy and it coming, the chosen one and all this other stuff. That happened in real life. We haven't gotten to the prophecy. We've already seen things in the Bible point towards Christ. But once we get to the prophecy books, that's where it really starts to become clear. That's where it really starts to become clear. Right now we're in an awesome spot where we're learning a lot about what's happening to God's chosen tribe, where he's put them, and how they're either living up to their covenant, to living up to their side of the agreement, like David did most of his life, like Samuel did, like Joshua did, like Moses did. And how most everybody else done screwed everything up. A lot of other people screwed up. And we are getting ready to, we're with we got David. We've seen that Solomon is born. It's no spoiler here that Solomon is a king. He doesn't automatically become king. There's a whole story that involved in that. But Solomon's a great king. But after Solomon, dude, it is a dark period for Israel and Judah. It is a lot of bad stuff. And then, because we'll be getting into the Ahab and Jezebel, the Persians coming in, the um, and the other people conquering. When God goes, guess you don't need me, right? Since you don't seem to want to do any of the things I've asked you to do. So much red meat, though, to go through. I mean, look, like I said, again, and this is kind of what I start off with sometimes in my intros. A lot of people think the Bible's just a book of rules. It's a thou arts and thou shalt nots and you shalls. It's not. And even when people like we went through Leviticus, like we know it's there's some boring parts to it. But there's so much, even when it seems like we do 2 chapters a night generally. We do 2 chapters a night. And there's always something going on. There's always something going on. And I guess that means that tomorrow night, since it's going to be the last of the since it's going to be the last stream of the year, we're going to close out 2 Samuel. We're going to close out 2 Samuel. David's going to die at the end of 2 Samuel. And we'll go out reading the Bible, which is what we've done the most of this year. And it's a hearty as usual, right, guys? As usual, I gotta punch up y'all's egos. It's a hearty thank you. Hearty thank you for everything you've done being here. And then we'll go into Kings, which look, if you've liked 1st and 2nd Samuel, you're going to love 1st and 2nd Kings. You're going to love 1st and 2nd Kings. Chronicles is not going to be all that. Chronicles is going to be a little bit of a rehash of 1st and 2nd Kings. Alias is C&E. It's C&E Christians like A&E Christians. No, A&E Christians go, oh wait. No, it's History Channel Christians. Go aliens. Nico, any New Year resolutions for this channel? No. No, I did one last year, and I think I was did, and you guys are here partially because of it. Last New Year's, I said I'm gonna fight to get more guests on because it was just me and Eric for the most part. I think I think Hans was first of the year. Was after the first of the year. I had a lot of guests that I wanted to bring on. And I've got, I guess if you want a New Year's resolution, I guess my New Year's resolution is to continue bringing guests on. The past couple of months has been very, very low key on that in that regard, but with as busy as the holidays are, from close to Halloween all the way to now, yeah, I think it's just easier trying to line up schedules afterwards. So, oh, and I'll just start calling myself 40 come January 1st. Since it'll be the year I was born, 40 years ago. 1983. So, all right, guys. More female diversity in the guests in 2023, please. There's nothing I can do about that. Oh, bring Raph back on. That's the thing about that. Raph and his wife are reading through the Bible. The Rafter. Him and his wife are reading through the Bible. I've told them, hey, maybe y'all should tune in when y'all catch up to me. Porcupine, I invite y'all to join me in a 40-day fast coming January 2nd. I'm including no liquor. Is that dietary wise, Porcupine? Because it's a great one for Lent. I did Lent. I don't know what I'm going to do for Lent this year. Because I like doing it. I think fasting is a great thing to do. And that was one of the great things. I think that was a great thing that Raph came on to talk about fasting. And how it worked. Maybe I'll get him back on now that we've got more of a more active channel. Bring him back on to talk about it. So him and I are going. He lets us. No. He's reading it to his wife. I don't know if that's the case, but he would think that's funny. Nico says, I may just fast because I'm poor. Hey, look, fasting is easy when you don't have to spend on a lot of stuff. You can always pick something. No, Porcupine, I can't join you on that. Maybe I should. Or okay, hey, take off. Are you looking? I don't mind doing a fast where I'm fasting from something, but it can't be liquor. There's reasons behind that, but yeah. Shoes, disgusting. Oh, your church does it every year. I think that's a good look. Fasting as a group is great because it kind of helps everybody. John Smoth, whoa, yes. Comments just in time for me to close out and say the good nights. So on that note, hey, Porcupine, let's talk about the fast. When am I going to be streaming next? So I'm going to be doing Wednesday, but that's not what I'm talking about doing it. Yeah, I might stream January 2nd. So let's talk about so Porcupine, if you're going to be watching, or if you're planning on watching the stream on Monday, then maybe we'll talk about starting the fast and have people pick things that they're going to be fasting from. Maybe we can get Nico to fast from anime. I can do a fast of, you know, something that would be good for me to fast from, dietary wise, bread. That I should. I'm 220-ish, 225. I need to get down to 190. 6'2", 220. I'd like to be down. I'd like to be down to 190. That's good, Nernath, for the most part. That makes it difficult for like business meetings during lunch. No, Nico, what this is a fasting from shaving. And watch. I haven't trimmed my beard or cut my hair since probably June. Is fasting from work acceptable? I wish it was. Nah, just kidding. I like what I do. It's tiring. But it keeps my mind sharp, I think. Or it pushes me to sharpen my mind. I'm exhausted at the end of the day a lot of times. Y'all don't understand how tired I am. A lot of times at the beginning of these streams, like mentally tired, not physically tired, but mentally tired. And you guys perk me up, so. I'm selfish. I do the stream for me. All right, we're gonna get out of here, guys. I said short stream. It went over an hour. We knew that's gonna happen. All right, so with that said, Nico, alias Nernath. Oh man, get rid of butter. All right, stop. Before I say it again. All right, I didn't talk about this. So me and my wife are asking, what were we gonna do for Christmas dinner? Because we didn't want to do ham or turkey. I mean, we were ham and turkey. We've been ham and turkeyed out. I'll get to that in a minute, Nernath. We were ham and turkeyed out. So we were coming up with an idea. We were trying to think of an idea. And so what we did is we stole an idea from a friend of mine and his family, who stole it from a friend of his and his family. So the friend of mine, in fact, his wife was on our show, Liz, talking about women in Christianity. She makes really good bread, all different types. She bakes very well, bakes very good bread, right? She was one of those ladies who picked it up during COVID, and it's awesome. So she baked the bread for us. Nice, thick Japanese bread. It was Japanese bread of some sort, whatever. Nice, thick cut. And wife cooked up a London broil. So you take the bread slice, you put the London broil, take a slice of London broil, nice healthy slice, and put it on top of the bread. And then we also have a butter and shallot mix. And then you pour that over. Optional, but necessary, because if you don't like mushrooms, you're a woman like my wife. Mushrooms, sauteed mushrooms, put them on top, and you eat that. So it's bread, London broil, butter and shallots, mushrooms. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's so good. I love bread. I love meat. I love mushrooms. I love butter. The shallots are all right. You can do onions if you want. But oh my goodness. So good. Important theological question. Do commies get the benefit of the spiritual fasting exercise if there's no food to eat? Only if it helps them realize that communism is evil and that they should become Christians. And if that's the case, then yes. Or if that's not the case, then Nico's answer is correct, because commies are fundamentally evil. And then there you have it. All right, so let's try this again. Nico, Nernath, Porcupine, alias. John Smoth, I said Porcupine already. Anybody else, if they're here? Girls69.xyz, who was blocked. Same to you. To Dresden, who may not have caught this. To MR. To any of the lurkers. To Wild Weeb, wherever you are. All of you guys tuning in, thank you for showing up. Have a very good night, and God bless. Merry